Hi, my name is Simran Sengar. In the previous video, we discussed about land resources. In this one, we will discuss soil resources. So what is soil? That thin layer of grainy substance covering the surface of the earth is called soil. We all know what is soil and how it is closely linked with land. Now, soil is made up of all the organic matter, mineral and weathered rocks found on the earth. So what are weathered rocks? What is weathering? Weathering is the breaking up and the decay of exposed rocks by temperature changes, frost, action, plants and human activity. So what is weathering? Basically when a rock gets cracked up into smaller pieces, into further smaller particles by the action of temperature, either heat or very cold or frost or plants. How do plants affect it? Because when the roots of the plants penetrate the rocks, they develop cracks in it. And human activities such as land degradation, erosion, etc. So this is called weathering. And we all know that soil comprises of organic matter, dead and decaying matter, minerals also, because rocks contain mineral, and weathered rocks. We know what is weathering now. So this happens through the process of weathering. The right mix of mineral and organic matter makes the soil fertile. Okay, so moving on to the next topic, factors of soil formation. How is the soil formed? Okay, before we do how is soil formed, let's have a look at this cute diagram, cute picture. This is the diagram of soil profile. What is soil profile? Soil profile is nothing but the 4 layers of soil which are divided horizontally in the land. So the first is the topsoil. This topsoil is also called A horizon. What is it known as? A horizon. A horizon or the topsoil is the most fertile soil. It contains humus. What is humus? Humus is the dead and decaying matter which makes the soil fertile, right? And topsoil has, because of this reason, it has vegetation covered in it. Next is subsoil. This subsoil has sand, silt and clay, and it has some form of microorganisms as well. Organisms also, like the earthworm and rabbits which make burrows in the land, rodents, etc. Then the next is weathered rock material. These are the smaller particles of rock which have weathered. Okay, this forms the third layer or the C horizon of the soil profile. The last one is parent rock or the D horizon. This is the complete bedrock. Okay, so these are the 4 layers of soil. Now comes the topic, factors of soil formation. How is the soil formed? Now, the major factors of soil formation are nature of the parent rock that we did just now. The parent rock or the D horizon, it determines the color, texture, chemical properties, mineral content and permeability of the soil. Okay, next is climate. How do climate affect soil formation? Of course, very much it affects the soil formation. As I have just told you that temperature is very high temperature creates cracks. Very high or very low temperature creates cracks in the rocks, which further develops into weathered rock material and further into soil. So temperature, rainfall, rate of weathering, humus formation, all these are important factors of soil formation. The next factor is relief. What is relief? Relief means the physical features or the topography of an area. So relief determines altitudes and slope. This determines the accumulation of soil. So soil would be different in different places. For example, it would be different in mountainous region, it would be different in a plateau region, and it would be different type of soil in a desert region, right? Okay, the next factor is flora, fauna and microorganisms. Flora, fauna and microorganisms affect the rate of humus formation. We all know that flora means the plantation and fauna means the wildlife, and microorganisms are the microbes which we see through microscope, right? So this affects the humus formation. As we have just done, that humus is nothing but the dead and decaying particles in the soil, which is responsible for making the soil more fertile. The last but not the least factor is time. Do you know that it takes about hundreds of years to make just 1 centimeter of soil? Yes, so this shows that time is a very crucial factor. It determines how thick the soil is. Okay, so this completes the topic factors of soil formation. Now comes the topic soil degradation and conservation. So what do we need to conserve the soil? Why should soil be conserved? Soil should be conserved because it is degraded. So how is it degraded? In the form of soil erosion and depletion. So these are the major threats to the soil as a resource. What factors lead to degradation? Human factors and natural factors. What are human factors? Human factors can be deforestation, overgrazing, overuse of chemical fertilizers or pesticides. And natural factors be like rain wash, landslides, floods, etc. Okay, so this is the degradation of soil. Now coming to the methods to conserve soil. How can we conserve the soil? We can conserve the soil through the following methods such as mulching, contour barrier, rock dams, terrace farming, intercropping, contour ploughing and shelter belts. So first method is mulching. What is mulching? Mulching means the bare ground between plants is covered with a layer of organic matter like straw. It helps to retain soil moisture. Let's have a look how is mulching done. So if this is a field, then in these strips alternatively plants are sown or crops are grown. So this part is one strip is covered with straw or other organic matter and the other is covered with crops. Then again one strip is covered with straw and then crops and then straw or organic matter and then crops. These days mulching paper is being used for mulching. What does mulching help into? Mulching helps in the soil retention. Okay. Then next topic is contour barrier. What are contour barriers? Contour barriers or soil that are used to build barriers along the contour. Trenches are made in front of the barrier to collect water. So how is this contour ploughing done? Contour barriers. Contour barriers are nothing when in a steep slope, the slopes are covered with stones or grass in a parallel line. Okay, so that when the water falls over it, there is retention of water. These are the trenches where the water gets collected. So that downfall of water does not happen. So therefore, barriers are being arranged in this steep slope. Okay, this is contour barrier. Next is rock dam. We all have seen dams, right? So rocks are piled up to slow down the flow of water. This prevents gullies and further soil. We have seen dam, and what happens? Why are dams important? Because for soil conservation, because rocks are piled up to slow down the flow of water so that the flow of water is regulated and this prevents soil erosion. Next is terrace farming. As you can see this beautiful picture over here, that on these slopes of the mountains, rocks are being cut into steps so that water retention is done. Let me explain it with a sketch. So if this is the mountain, then this slope is cut down into further steps, so that when the water comes, it has to first go down through these steps, which creates a hindrance, okay, so that the flow does not happen in a rushed manner. Okay, so this is terrace farming. Next topic is intercropping. So different crops are grown in alternate rows and are sown at different times to protect the soil from rain wash. So it's a very common method that different types of crops are grown and they are grown at different times. So once these rows are filled up, and then in the next time these two rows are filled up. So this is intercropping. Next is contour ploughing. Ploughing is nothing but plowing a slope. So we have already done contour barriers. So contour barriers were to make the water, to collect the water. But contour ploughing is the method of farming where the ploughing is done along these parallel lines. Okay, as you can see in this picture also, this is a picture of contour ploughing. So these drawn over here, and then crops are grown in alternate in contours of the hill slope to form a natural barrier, right? Next topic is shelterbelts. What are shelterbelts? So around the field, what happens is the farmer grows certain trees in a row. Okay, so when the trees are grown in a row, what will happen? This will the roots of the trees will bind the soil, and hence it will help in prevention of soil erosion. So these are the methods of conservation of soil. In the next video, we will be covering water resource. Till then, keep watching and like and subscribe. Thank you.